Hi, welcome to 360 Virtual Home Tours by Sam. I'm Sam Dorfman, and I've been a computer programmer for umpteen years, retired now. I've done numerous websites and numerous YouTube channels. And I'm currently a newly minted real estate salesman with a license in the state of Pennsylvania under Realty Mart Associates in Montgomery County. And I'm also a 360 virtual home tour photographer, and any listing that I get, you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to have a 360 virtual home tour. Now, before I go any further, what's this YouTube channel purpose? And here's what happened. I did 4 Matterport's like the Cadillac of 360 virtual home tours, at least at the present time. And I did 4 of them for a local realtor, George Cahill, and he circulated them around to his Facebook friends. I showed it to my friends, and without exception, they found this button that gives you a tour of the house like a movie. It's called a guided tour. And they went through it and they said, hey, this is terrific. And each one that I asked, I said, but did you do the other 5 tours? They said, what other 5 tours? The point is that they don't realize the power that the Matterport package has to offer. So I said, okay, I've got to make a channel for that. And then halfway through, it dawned on me, this isn't just for the people looking at it who I thought would be the real estate buyers. This is for everybody that's involved in a real estate transaction. Let's start with the sellers. What do the sellers have to look for? Well, hey, the sellers are indirectly or directly paying for this model, and if they don't know what they're paying for, they don't know what they're buying. And even though they might have heard about, virtual tours, and they say, hey, I want one for my house, they don't know what they're getting, they don't know what they're paying for. And if it's a little more expensive, they say, well, I don't want it, I want the cheaper one. So, that's for the buyers, for the sellers. Now, how about the listing agent? Well, the listing agent's the one that's doing the contracting for these virtual home tours. And if the listing agent doesn't know what's on the market and how it works, he's not going to advise the seller properly. So now we're down to the buyer and the buyer's agent. Well, what does the buyer's agent have to do with this? Well, if the buyer doesn't know what to do and has never heard of this channel, then it's the buyer's agent's responsibility to let them know that they can do a terrific study of a house using the 360 virtual home tour. So even that person's involved. And now how about the developers? Well, heck, they made the stuff. They know how it works, right? Well, you'd be surprised how many Matterport projects I've seen that are only half-done jobs. They've left out the most important stuff. And I don't know if it's out of just something they don't know, or if they're just lazy and saying, oh, they don't need this. But hey, they need everything. So that's what I developed this for. Now, let's go back to tours. A virtual home tour is any home tour where you're not there. And that has the advantage of the safety and security of your house, the time that you don't spend in traveling. You could be in a different city, you could be in a different country, and still do a really good inspection of a house using a virtual home tour. So now what kind are there? Well, the most common one up to not so long ago was a good quality movie. The movie could have someone walking through the house showing you every aspect and explaining it, or it could just be a really good movie with music background and nobody explaining anything. Okay, the thing that is missing on that is the interactivity. There's no way to really get and view the stuff at your own pace. I know you could turn it off temporarily, you could do a stop, you could do a rewind, you can even modify the speed, but that's not going to do the job for you. You need something where you can go every single inch at your own control. Which takes us to 360s. The 360 home tour allows you to see every aspect of every scene. Every scene is 360 rotatable. Now what does that mean? It means you can take your mouse pointer on your desktop, or if you got a mobile phone or of any kind, you can take your finger and you could actually rotate the picture, the scene that you're in, 360 degrees, a complete circle. And that lets you see just about everything. So that's what a 360 home tour does for you. And there's more than just that, but we'll get to that later. Now, is there anything else? Yeah, there's something new, and for lack of another name, I'll call it a Zoom tour. The person showing you the house is in the house. You're not there, but they're in the house, and they can run through the house using a mobile phone or an iPad, and using some communication software like Skype or FaceTime, or more commonly now Zoom. And with that camera, they're showing you the aspects of the house. And that's pretty decent. The only problem with that is it's got to be a time that you're available and they're available. So they could run it like an open house where they have scheduled times when they do this. Or it could be a special appointment which is convenient for you and for them. That's opposed to the 360 tour, where you can do it anytime, day or night, at your convenience for as long as you want. So does that sum up everything? No. There's another virtual tour, which I call it a Zoom hybrid. And except for me, I don't know anybody advocating this, but I think this is going to be the bellwether of the way to show a house. Because what do you do now? The person who's giving the tour doesn't have to be in the house. You heard what I said. He does not have to be in the house. He hooks up via Zoom with the people he's showing it to, and we'll discuss at another time all the different combinations of that. But he hooks up with them, and then he opens up a Matterport tour in Zoom, and then he can go through the entire house with all the people involved. So again, now you lose some degree of controlling your time. The person giving the lecture could do it as an open house, or it's scheduled, or he does it by appointment. But you could do it like someone gives you a call and says, hey, I want a virtual tour. And you say, okay, let me turn my computer on and I'll give it to you. So I think the Zoom hybrid is going to be the tour of the future. So now what am I going to have on this channel? A lot of stuff. So the first thing I have, which is almost complete, I got some touch-ups to do, is a playlist with a bunch of short videos showing all the tours, the different tours that you can do with Matterport. Now I'm using Matterport as a starting one. It's kind of a basis. There are other pieces of software that are more sophisticated, but Matterport seems to have all the bases covered when it comes to real estate. There's also things that are pretty good that are less expensive, and again, a well-done Matterport tour takes a considerable amount of time, and whoever does it has to be compensated for their time, and also some skill, and again, they got to be compensated for that. So something that takes less time and less skill might be what you'd be interested in. So I'm going to give lectures on all those things. I'm also going to take different side excursions, which we'll get into later, but this will not be a small channel. So please subscribe and stay tuned and see what 360 Virtual Home Tours has to offer. Thank you.